so we're going to do a beginning video on just basic strokes that you should know to make your face painting look a lot better. Okay, so the first thing you need is control of your brush. So I'm going to start with the round brush, and to get differences in the round brush, you want to push hard, and you get a thicker line. And then when I come up and go vertical to the skin, I get a thinner line. So you want to practice doing a few strokes of thick to thin. Okay, and then try a series of really straight lines. Okay, so you're just using the tip of your brush. See how I've got it so I don't have it laying sideways, I have it straight in, and I drag it along just the tip. And you want to get control of your brush. You see how I'm using my pinky to control it, so I'm not waving in the air trying to keep my line straight. I'm controlling myself, so turn this way, and pulling. Now practice going thick to thin, okay? So to get a good teardrop, which is the first stroke that you should have down, you're going to push, and then you're going to pull to a thin line, okay? So I can curve them and bring them into this thin point. Now see how they're all coming to this same area? You want to keep in mind some kind of focal point. I don't care where it is, but you want a focal point. A lot of face painters, you'll see their work and they'll pull a teardrop here, and then they'll have one out here, and then they'll have one out here. That doesn't look good. You see someone who does tiger stripes that way. You want to try and keep them in clusters. So for it to really look good, if I take 3, if I want to do a set of 3, and I put them close together, it looks much better. I'm coming to this point. It looks better if you have some just right next to each other. Okay? So you want to practice that. Now swirls and curls, you would just go, you're going to make sort of a question mark. Okay, now a question mark would have a strong hook in it. You don't want that strong hook, so we're going to elongate the hook. So if I come around, I'm going to start with the thick part. Okay? See how I elongated that? I didn't jump over. I didn't point it, and then you can bring this around to a point. Okay? So here's your question mark that you're seeing in your head. Would look like that. Well, you don't want that curve. Okay? You want to bring that, you're going to flatten that out so it's like that. So if I'm coming around, I'm going thin to thick to thin. Okay? So let's do the other direction. You go from thin at the bottom, so if I was coming around from the bottom, and then bring it in and back up to a point. See how I'm coming back to a point? That way I'm going from thick to thin. Okay, so I'm starting thin, straight in at the skin. I'm dragging, I'm laying the brush down as I come around, getting thicker, then I'm coming back up to thin. Okay? So as thin as you want to get it, that's pretty hair thin there. Right? And then you can double these. So I can come around from the thick part, come into the thick part, and come out and bring a second line around. And then you can color that in with another color, or you can leave the whole, and then you can add some teardrops to it and bring it in. So let's do a pattern. Let's do a design. Okay, so let's say we're going to do a pattern on Marsha's face. Marsha, by the way, is the co-owner of Party Characters. Okay, so I want to bring a teardrop into this point right here. I'm using this as my point or my focal point. So I can start from here, and I'll do one starting from thin, and come around, get thick and thin. Now I don't like how thick that is, so I'll come back into the thick part and just drag it out a little bit thinner. I try and start thin, but if I have too much paint on my brush, that happens sometimes. Just make sure you end up with points. Okay, now let's bring some teardrops. So I'm going to bring a series of teardrops in here. A mistake that face painters make is they do them all the same size and too far apart. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the longest one and bring it in. Then I'm going to start a little shorter. See, I'm starting down here and bring it in. And then I'm going to start a little shorter still. Okay? And see what a nice pattern and a wing shape you get there. Now, you can build off that. Let's say I want to take my scrolls the opposite direction. So I'm going to come from the thickest part, swing it down, and bring it around. Okay? So you can go the other way. And you can keep building off those swirls. So you see what I'm doing. I'm coming from the thicker part, and then I'm swinging in. So I can come from here, and swing another time and bring it in there. And I can start to build this lacy design around. And then you can come in with your little, I can take just the tip of the brush, and with the same concept of thick to thin, I'll push just a little on the tip and pull and pull and pull. So I brought a series of teardrops in there. But see how they went from thick to thin. So I'm really staying on the tip when I'm doing these little ones. Okay? And you can start filling in your design that way. Now you can also bring in dots to fill in. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm varying the sizes and I'm getting smaller. So see how I'm still coming in? Now I've got a new point. My point is here. I'm drawing everything into here. I'm going to stop there with that. So let me go to the other side. Let's do some of those double loops. Okay, on our, see, I'm loading my brush. I don't know if you can see this. I'm getting it kind of pasty, but I have fluidity to it. And I'm rolling back and I'm pulling back. I'm trying to get as much of a point on here as I can. Okay, so this time I'm going to do one of those loops. I'll go under. Okay, so I'm going to come around. I'm on the tip of my brush, trying to stay as thin as I can. Now I'm getting thick. I'm pulling up to thin. And now I'm going to come back this way. Come in thin again. So I put that second layer. And then I'll come from there, come forward, and do another swirl there. I can do the same thing up. Now this time, instead of coming from here, I'm going to come from here. Okay, so you can do it reverse, whatever's more comfortable for you. So I'm going to start on a point, come around thicker, and bring it into a point. For me, that's uncomfortable. That's not the way I do it. I start from the back and I go forward. But you can do either way, whatever's more comfortable for you. I know it's different for left-handed people. Okay, now I'm going to come from this thick part, swing forward, come around to that point again, and bring that in. Now that's really nice and pointed. That's a nice crisp point. But if you want even more, you can even do that. You can add a lot more to it. So you can get as swirly or as curly as you want to. Now you see this space in here. You can leave it like that. It looks nice, and if we look at it straight on, it's still pretty, but we can also bring in, instead of doing the 3 curves like we did here, right there, we can also come straight in, which looks nice. So we come in with the longest one in the middle, and then get shorter, and the sides. So we can have that look. It's kind of like a princess look. And then same thing, let me also talk about when you're coming down the middle. Even though I brought that in there, I'm going to show you when you're coming down the middle with a princess crown, you want to really get fat up here and come to a really nice, drag it to a nice point. You see how good that looks? It's nice and crisp. I'm going to come in pretty close to it. Another mistake I see with a lot of face painters is they spread these out too far. So if I come way out here and way out here, that doesn't look good. You need to stay close like these are, real close. So you can also do this with a square brush. We can push and pull up to a point, push and pull up to a point, push and pull up to a point. And you can go ahead and bring some in here as well. So you can do it with a square brush, same thing. I'll hold it out here so you can see. Push and pull up to that point. And you can get some really nice edges with a square brush. I like the square brush for that reason. You can get some really fine lines, depending on what you want to do. Good for lashes and things like that if I was going to put some lashes under. But you can see how nice that looks. You can do all kinds of designs just by being good at your swirls and curls and your teardrops. Those are really essential. Okay, happy painting. Bye, Marcia.